Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Oh, it's Friday. Yes, it's Friday. I love that. By the way, my favorite thing about the new Open is that they're like, Lou, do something silly. It's just him smiling in a different position.
We gave them double fist
We were silly. That's what we were trying to do. This is Run It Back. Michelle, Chandler, Lou, we got some hoops to talk about. But before that, I believe you owe him $100.
Did I lose yesterday?
You did.
You took the Warriors. You took the Rockets. I took the Warriors.
You
Don't
did.
do this.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Run the tapes.
Run the tape. Run it back. Don't worry, you don't have to do it now.
Red flag.
It's like
Red flag. I'm challenging.
All ones, please.
Run a tab. Just run a tab. There'll be many more of these.
Ones.
So we'll start right there. The game that Lou lost, and so did the Rockets. No Curry, no Draymond, but KUMINGA, career high 33 points. Andrew Wiggins had 23 and 9. The Rockets, this is just a team that has their number. They've now lost 15 straight to the Warriors. Look, we can start to look into this right now, Lou, and I figure why not? Because we've talked about whether or not this Rockets team is real.
Yep.
You don't have Steph, you don't have Draymond, you still can't seem to get over this hump. Is this one of those games where it makes you doubt them?
No, sometimes you got to give credit where it's due. Jonathan Kuminga having a career high, 33 points. You got Andrew Wiggins who had a big night with 23. Like, on any given night, anybody can beat you. This is the National Basketball Association.
Whoa.
We'll chop it down to
Yes,
just
so.
the association. But we learned a valuable lesson. No matter who suits up, this is an opportunity for other guys to step in and play a big part in wins and losses. And last night, Golden State were able to do that. They found a lot of different places. They found production, and they just played a better basketball game. To me, this game doesn't have a lot to do with the Rockets and the way they played. I'm sure we'll discuss.
Oh, yes.
You know, Ime Udoka calling his guys out. But to me, I felt like Golden State played a better basketball game, and they were better prepared for what happened last night.
See, I think the Rockets are doing everything right. They're on the right path. They're on the rise. But I'm the opposite of Lou here. I think that when teams like the Rockets lose, it's like, this is why we have these doubts. When a team like the Cavs lose, this is why we have it, because we haven't seen them do it on a big stage yet. It's a small sample size of their success. So this is why they have so much doubters and so many people that don't think they're contenders because of nights like this. Now, if the Mavs or if the Warriors or the Celtics lose a game, we're more likely just to chalk it up to a bad game because those teams are more proven, those teams are more talented, things like that. This, again, the Rockets are up and coming. They're on the rise. They're doing everything right. I do still think they're one piece away, which they have a lot of assets to get there, to get to there. But again, the Warriors played really good last night. I should get paid $200 because I didn't know Steph wasn't playing when I took.
Not how betting works.
I didn't either.
No.
I didn't even. Draymond wasn't playing either. So this was a huge win. A lot of guys stepped up in the absence of those two guys, but. Yeah, I think this is why you have kind of that hesitation of putting the Rockets in that contender category when they go and lose a game like this. And again, it's just one game at the end of the day, but it is a good measuring stick and a kind of a reality check of where they actually stand.
We want to talk about the Ime Udoka situation, and it's funny. Look, there's sound of this one, so we're going to listen to it, and then on the other side, I got a question. Here he is.
All the things that we've done to get a decent record have kind of gone out the window last few games. A few guys really didn't look like they showed up till after halftime. One of our softest games since I've been here for sure.
So I like this. I don't know if you do. They are a young team, so I guess half of coaching is reading the room. Do you think that this will have a positive effect?
I do, and I think when you are coaching a young team, you face more challenges. You can call them out like this, but when I watch the Rockets, I don't find them soft at all. I actually think the opposite. I think they play extremely hard. They have a lot of tough, hard-nosed guys that enjoy doing all the dirty things, as coaches like to say. So I don't think they're a soft team. I think this is more motivation and more Udoka challenging them to get the effort every single night consistently. Because when you coach a young team like that, you learn to live with poor shot selection sometime, or bad turnovers, or having mental breakdowns on coverages and things like that. You should never have to worry about effort. There's no excuse for that when you're. So I think that is his point is trying to get across, because that can be frustrated when you are young and you do have fresh legs. But when I watch the Rockets, I don't get that feeling that they're a soft team.
Because I watched this game last night. I didn't get that feeling either. I didn't get that vibe either. But again, when you score 93 points and the other team scores 99, and you're averaging 110, 120. This is one of those games you feel like slipped out of our hands. We could have played better, could have played more energetic and put ourselves in a position to win this basketball game. But again, on the other side of the ball, you're talking about a very experienced Golden State Warriors team. No matter whether Steph, Draymond, or anybody else plays, they're going to be well equipped because they're coached well and they have a system where they can plug in and plug guys in and out where they're going to play good basketball. And I think they ran into that last night. But if I'm Ime Udoka and I score 93 points, I feel like I let one get away with the team that I had.
Yeah, he didn't go crazy either. He's just a very delivering his message. Very, but it's weird because it's the second straight day. We talked effort yesterday with the Lakers. We're talking about a little bit of effort now as well. Is this just a hey, we're about a quarter of the way through the season lull?
Well, I think that's the whole part of the NBA Cup is to eliminate games like this where they're stagnant, they're boring, there's not a lot of high energy, the crowds are even less attendance in the crowd. So I think games like this, it's a long season, man. 82 games, you're not going to be perfect, you're not going to have that edge. That's why it's nice to have the luxury of a bench, have some youth to kind of bring in that spark. That's why I think the frustration came from the Lakers in the first place. Why is LeBron the one bringing the energy at the oldest guy on the team? But yeah, I mean, when you watch the NBA now, it's half the battle is playing hard. Everyone's talented. Everyone has skill. Everyone has something that they've perfected, whether it's, an offensive part of the game or defense part of the game. But you can make a lot of money in this league just by playing hard. And a lot of guys don't do it. So you'd see the teams that do it both, that have great coaching, that have depth, that defend, that are bought into the coach's game plan and everything. Those teams are usually the teams that win. But it starts off and ends with playing hard.
I like that. Playing hard. Showing up, being part of the team. By the way, you mentioned a trade. They're a piece away, and they have all the assets. I want both of you to chime in on this one. Do we think they will make a move? But more importantly, if so, who's the perfect fit?
I don't think you overreact and you feel like you have to go out and get somebody else. The point is to bring these young guys on and turn them into the all-stars that you want them to be, opposed to just bringing someone in. In the last 3 years, this is probably the best basketball they've played. They can throw last night away or feel however they feel, but the totality of the year, they're playing really good basketball. They're still sitting in second place in the Western Conference. If you're Ime Udoka or your management, you don't just overreact to that and try to bring somebody in. You're still trying to get Jalen Green and Sengun on the same page, let alone bringing in somebody else, and you're still in second place. I think they're sitting in a really good position. If you're the Houston Rockets, don't overreact to some of these things. Now, everybody always wants to get better, sure. by any stretch of the imagination. Now, if you can go out and go get a Giannis or somebody like that, by all means, you give yourself that opportunity. But if you're the Houston Rockets, you don't overreact. I like where I stand with this team as it's built right now.
Yeah, not much is decided just on one game. We were talking about how long the season is. This is some losses hurt more than others, but I think they're aware of the big picture. I think they know they're doing the right things. They're on the rise. This is one of the more up-and-coming teams. But at the end of the day, yeah, I think they know that a championship this year, that would exceed expectations to the max. Listen, they're going to...
What is it they're missing? Like you say, they're missing something.
I mean, there's guys out there that first of all, they have the assets, which is they're in a great situation where they have a lot of young pieces. You look at their roster from Thompson to Smith to people would want Brooks, Reed Shepherd. They have so many assets that you could package to go and get a Brandon Ingram or a Jimmy Butler. Oh, wow. Kyle Kuzma makes his team better. So there are kind of these versatile wing, scoring, defending, hard-nosed dudes that I think would mix in well with this current roster, depending on who you have to give up. But they are on the right track. They have their core nucleus going forward with Fred, with that dynamic duo. Now I think it's time they add one more just kind of wing vet scorer that can kind of really then put them in that category with these other teams that we believe in.
Me personally, I think you don't make a big trade, but you probably can look at your bench and see how can I get better off of my bench? How can I get more scoring? How can I get more defending for when one of these guys go out? Their starting lineup, all of these guys are nearly averaging 36 to 37 minutes a night. And then you got Steven Adams, you got Thompson coming off the bench, and they're giving you great production. But if I can bring somebody in that I know for a fact is going to give me 15 to 20 points every night off that bench, or I'm going to beef up at that big position with Steven Adams, somebody that's going to bang down there when Sengun is out of the game. Those are areas that they can improve in, opposed to making a big splash going out and getting a big name guy.
It's just a simple beef up and bang down there. That's it.
Happy Friday. That's how you celebrate.
You couldn't help it.
It's right
Every
there.
time I say the word beef, you guys erupt on
Because
it.
you use it
Your
in a
credit's
way
bad,
that's
bro.
so.
Whatever.
You got bad credit.
That's actually a great point. Your credit's the worst it could possibly be. Can we talk a little Jonathan Kuminga? Because I feel like he's been on a roller coaster his whole career, and last night was such a great high. It was a career high 33 for him. Steve Kerr after this one said, you know what? Start looking to him to be a weapon as a scoring option late in games. I love this, Chandler, because I liked him since he came into the league, but I couldn't figure out what to do here. So what do you think? Second option behind Steph? Is this possible?
Well, this is the version of the guy that I picked preseason to be the most improved player. I thought there was going to be a lot of games like this because you could see the potential. You see the strength, the athleticism. He is really, really good at creating mismatches and blowing by big guys or posting up smaller guys. A second option, I don't know if he's ready to do that for a full season, but yeah, he's gotten a lot better. And I also love that he went through some adversity this year. He started off as a starter. He's only started 5 games of the 18 games he's played in. Now he's kind of getting comfortable in this bench role. When other guys come out, he knows his number's called. And that night, he's almost has more freedom to be more aggressive and to do the things he did last night. And you see, to close this game last night, they're basically putting him in a 1-4 flat or a pick and roll and just letting him rock. So this is a huge spark for them. We don't know how much longer Draymond and Steph are going to have at an elite level. So to have him kind of showing flashes of that franchise player with the depth that they have, it's huge. But a second option on a championship team right now, I think that's a little early, but
are they a championship team? That's the other question.
But I think he should be the second option, though.
I
And
like it.
Who else would be? Yeah,
Yeah, and what I like about Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors is finally you've seen a team be patient with their young talent, right? Usually in 2 years, it's like, it's not working out, trade them somewhere else, let them figure it out. They've been patient with Jonathan Kuminga, you know, from
There was a moment where it felt like, oh, no, they're going to.
It felt like it, right? And
I feel like he was in the doghouse.
in the doghouse, found himself on the bench, and he worked himself out of it. And now look at it. We're talking about him being the second option on a very talented team behind Steph Curry. You know, obviously Andrew Wiggins is going to have something to say about that. But again, to have that option, to have that in your arsenal for a young guy that's been in your organization, that's getting better and better, that's a plus for the Golden State Warriors.
And people knock him on his jump shot because he's not a shooter. He's just an athlete. He's more of a Giannis downhill type, but his numbers are low. He's shooting 29% from 3 and 43 from the field and 59 from the free throw percentage. So he's got to develop a more consistent jump shot. He's got to be able to expand that to his offensive package and make that more of a threat. But the intangibles he has, the talent, the length, the strength he has, if he's healthy, he develops just a little bit more of a consistent jump shot, the kid's going to be a stud.
And we keep complaining about how many three-pointers that the league is shooting right now. Jonathan Kuminga, 13 of 22 from the field, only 6 of those three-pointers.
Okay.
So that tells me he's being aggressive. He's asserting himself on the offensive end. He's using his size and his length to his advantage.
And again, even when he starts knocking shots down, they're going to start guarding him completely different, where they have to fight over a screen instead of the way they guard him in pick and roll. They just go under and they allow him to kind of take that little side step back 3. The minute he starts making those down at a 40-45% clip, then his whole game is going to open up. He's going to be an absolute monster.
The game we did our little prop party for. I'm assuming mine were right. I think yours were. Who had the Georgie Niang prop? I don't think that one hit. Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't think yours were right either.
I feel like they were.
Mine were right. Darius Garland over and Cavs money line.
What are you talking about? I had Mobley and Donovan. It's fine. Yes, this was a good one. 126-114 win for Cleveland. Donovan with 28. Garland had 24. But there was a little history made on the losing side of things. Nikola Jokic with this 27, 20, and 11 past Magic Johnson. He's now 3rd most triple-doubles in NBA history. I'm sure he cared immensely when they told him about that after this game. But again, Chandler, you're the biggest doubter up here about these Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a Nuggets team that everyone has always expectations for. Did this win do anything for you?
It helps. It helps. You want that clout. You want that respect. You want to be talked about amongst the great teams. These are the type of games you have to go and win. And they did it in a dominating fashion to where people are still going to have their doubts until they do it when it matters in the playoffs. But at this point, they've done all they can do. They have beat a lot of really good teams this year. They have by far the best record. They have been consistent. And I think the key with them is obviously they're talented and they have it all. But they're healthy, and they were when they were good. Last year when they were healthy, they were really, really good too. So it isn't like a surprise. I think 20-3 is a bit of a surprise. That's an unbelievable record. Starting 15-0. I don't think anybody can predict. Again, they beat the Celtics earlier this year, but that was without Jaylen Brown, Derek White. So I would love to see them match up with them full strength and see what happens. But
probably will.
Again, they are doing everything they can do in the regular season to earn that respect, to earn that right, to earn that possibly that #1 seed. In a game like this, with a team like I trust a lot, and Jokic, the best player in the world, it's a huge win for them.
Do you like this win, Lou?
I loved it. I loved it. You know, the honeymoon phase is over. This is a real team. You know, they're going to be here to stay. If they can stay healthy, and that's a big if for everybody around the league, but if they can stay healthy, they're going to give a lot of teams headaches. You know, they won a lot of big games against teams that we consider contenders. Yep. Now we got to start adding the Cleveland Cavaliers to that conversation, just like we did the Oklahoma City Thunder last year. You know, whether they're young, they got young vets and all-star guys. Some of these teams are ready to go, and they're ready to compete right now. And again, I want to shine a light on my guy, Kenny Atkinson. This is the same team from last year. This is the same group of guys, and they're playing a completely style of basketball. The system that he has them playing, they're playing fast, energetic. It looks like they're having fun, playing well with each other. Sometimes you need somebody to lead you into the right direction, and Kenny Atkinson has been able to do that for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they're playing really good basketball. I think they'll be a scary out come playoff time.
I agree. And by the way, their bench has been fantastic. Our guy, Georgie Niang, has been great. Merrill is a stud. Ty Jerome is exceeding his expectations crazy. And they're still missing their best shooter, Max Strus, who's yet to play. So they have something to look forward to. Lou, let me ask you a question. They're going to get 2 All-Stars, right?
Correct.
They have to.
They must.
Who are you going with?
It's
20
points?
20 points?
Both of them?
26-2 or 18-9-3? What number do you think is the All-Stars?
Both. But I would take the 18.
So that means Evan Mobley is going to get the All-Star over Darius Garland.
Wow.
Because Donovan Mitchell's he's starting.
He's done.
Well, you know that's not how All-Star voting works.
He should.
You know the names are going to get it.
But that's
By the way, that will annoy me.
Garland's averaging...
I'm already annoyed.
You'll be annoyed, yes.
Garland's averaging 26-2, and Mobley's averaging 18-9-3.
Yeah, you know how this works.
It's just interesting. Like,
it's not right. It's not fair.
I'm sitting there watching last night. I'm like, I think this team is taking the next step because they're healthy, because Donovan Mitchell is an absolute stud, and I think Evan Mobley, he's kind of taking that jump. Like, you know what I mean? I think he is a huge factor.
But a coach will make the argument, well, how is he getting the ball? Who's getting him the basketball? Who's creating the plays for him to eat?
Give him 3.
It's a quarterback situation.
Give him all 3. Then Tyler Hero.
If they stay top 2,
it's not possible, right? I'm glad you're mentioning Evan Mobley. He had 20. Karis LeVert had himself a night, 21 points. Jared Allen had 15 boards. Look, this is a great supporting cast, Lou. Looking ahead to playoffs, big games. If they do this, I mean, I feel like you can beat Boston. I'm saying it. I'm saying it now. I'll just throw it out there.
They can compete against Boston. You know, I won't make that prediction in December, but this is a great start for it. This is an absolute great start for it. And even it's not just points. You know, this is impact. We're talking about Jared Allen at 15 boards last night. You know, Karis LeVert 21, Evan Mobley another 20 points. They're finding production in a lot of different ways. That's what makes great basketball teams. You throw something in a pot, I throw something in a pot, and that makes us all stronger together. In Cleveland, they have that.
We got to talk Jokic. Yesterday, we sort of joked the fact that his numbers are the best he's ever had, which is a little bit scary. Career highs, 30 points a game nearly. He's never had more than 27 in a season yet. It's increased scoring, and yet the record is what it is. So I don't know, Chandler, is this a good thing? Do they need to switch it up? Like, what has to change? And I know you're going to say something about Jamal Murray, but...
I mean, their record doesn't reflect that it's a good thing, but he has to, because when he goes out of the game, this team is drastically worse. So I do feel like there's that ownership, there's that responsibility for when he comes in. He's more aggressive this year offensively than he ever has been. And now he's great still getting everyone involved. He creates so much attention. He's getting double teams. He's still unbelievable on the offensive glass. He's still doing the Jokic type things. But yeah, when you look at this team, outside of Russ, maybe they don't have that scorer off the bench. And with Jamal Murray, when he seems to be looking a step slow and he's not been aggressive and he hasn't kind of got to his form, I don't know where else they get that offensive production. Right now, Michael Porter Jr. is their second leading scorer. Michael Porter is averaging more points than Jamal Murray. Nobody would have thought that would have been the case this year when Jamal Murray's 27 years old. Talk about all year, he's been snubbed for an all-star his whole career. I don't understand how that's the case. But Porter's more of a shooting playoff guys. Aaron Gordon's kind of that role player. Besides Murray and Jokic, they like Christian Brown's been good, Peyton Watson, Russ. They don't really have that Malik Monk, Jordan Clarkson type guy off the bench that can go in and get him 20. So this team's offense, they have to play through Jokic. He's got to be aggressive. I think for them to have any chance, he's got to average 30 plus, especially until Jamal Murray shows that he can be that guy again.
What's going on with Jamal Murray? Like, why does this happen? I know we're all waiting for the next step, the all-star step, all that stuff. Playoffs, we see him. It's almost like a different person sometimes. What is happening here?
I'll be honest. I think Jamal Murray is being the same player that he's always been. You know, he's had these big scoring outbursts in these big games. Other than that, he's pretty much settled into who he is. What I think the problem is, I think Denver kind of took for granted some of the role players that they did have. When you let a Jeff Green go, when you let a Bruce Brown go, you let a KCP go, those are glue guys that can get you to championships like they did. And now when you allow those guys to go and leave in free agency, that leaves that gap. Like Chandler just mentioned, besides Russell Westbrook, and Watson can play better off the bench, but who do they have that's going to give them that scoring punch that they need? Who's going to give them that leadership when some of these guys are playing? So when it comes to Jamal Murray, he doesn't have those role players to kind of cover up when he's not having these big nights. Even last night, I'll take a 19-6-4 from him. In a game. Would I like that to be a 25 to a 28 somewhere? Absolutely. But that's where your role players come in. That's where these other guys come in. So he had those guys to kind of protect him in moments where he didn't shine, and now he doesn't have that.
And we've gotten so used to the Nuggets winning at such a high clip to where everyone was getting praised, everything was coming easy. Now they're not doing that. Now they're 11-9, which is new. So so you got the point. You have to point the finger at someone. And Mike Malone, we all know how great of a coach he is. You can't deny Jokic's production and his numbers, so who else are you going to look other than the second best player that hasn't looked like himself all season long? So again, he's still, I'm not ready to write him off. He's 27 years old. This dude, this dude is a hooper. Again, he's underrated for the most part of his career. Part of that is because he hasn't been elite in the regular season. I prefer a guy that shows up in the playoffs, which he does every single year, so I'm okay with that. But
you want to dig a hole.
The West is so deep. This year, they can't afford to keep losing these games and slide in the standings because you don't want to tough out the first round. They just can't afford to do that. And this is a season where if this doesn't work and they are a first-round exit, or if, God forbid, they don't make the playoffs, this team is someone's going. So, they're going to make a change. So.
And be clear, 20 points don't care who scored. They got 3 guys that's starting at 19, 17, and 15 point per game averages. That's a lot of production that you're getting. But again, when those guys go out of the game, who's stepping in to keep that lead going? So now you look at Jokic. It looks like he's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Like, no, they're just a top-heavy team right now. They let a lot of those intricate pieces go that helped them get over the hump when those guys went out of the game, and now it's showing.
I think that was always a head-scratcher, too. Like, they won the championship, they had the parade, and then guys left, and you're like, nothing happened.
After Mike Malone,
I know, but
Mike Malone says, Bruce Brown, you're not going anywhere, and he signed.
And he was going next.
That was immediate, by the way.
But even when I watched Jamal Murray, it seems hard. Like, it seems like he's hitting these crazy step-back, spinny, long low percent shots. Nothing's coming easy for him quite yet.
And what year is this for Jamal Murray?
I mean, he's what, 27?
Because I want to say, if we're in year 7 or 8, this is the time where your game evolves and you put something in your bag. Like, you can't just rely on your athleticism. You can't rely. This is year what?
8.
Year 8. Yeah. At this point, the scout report is the scout report. Everybody knows your game. So what are you adding to it? What are you doing differently in year 8 that you were doing in year 5 that worked for you? Like, you have to change something. Year 8 from year 10 is around the time where Ja Morant just said it. I'm not going to dunk the basketball as much. He's making an adjustment. He's trying to turn that corner to the next phase of his career. Maybe it's time for Jamal Murray to find a different way to be impactful on the floor.
And this is no knock to Michael Porter, but the best version of this team is not Michael Porter averaging more points than Jamal Murray. It can't be. Like, it just doesn't even make sense.
It's not a knock to him. It's not. It's just Jamal.
I think we expect now more from Jamal Murray. He's a 25 and 10 type of guy. So when he's not doing that, we have our questions and our concerns. But this is they have something here. It's just I do feel like that window is closing to where, like, if they a first round You know what I mean?
Maybe there'll be a good trade deadline.
It's going to get dicey.
But they know that as well.
And they don't have that Buddy Hield, Jordan Clarkson, Malik Monk. They don't have that type of guy off the bench to give them that extra energy in those buckets. So I would love to see them kind of try and acquire someone like that.
Well, we got time. We got time for that. Don't look now, guys. Pelicans had themselves an evening. They snap a 9-game losing streak. They beat Phoenix 126-124. Brandon Ingram had 29. CJ McCollum with 25. Devin Booker threw in 28. And Herb Jones was back, y'all. Not only back, but he blocks a Devin Booker potential shot to win the whole thing. Brandon Ingram back, Herb Jones back. Obviously, Zion's still not out there as well. But, Lou, this is a nice positive moment. Can we build off this even without Zion and start to get this thing back on the rails?
Yeah, they should just enjoy that Thursday night.
Alrighty.
And they should. And that's not a diss. That's not a diss. It's just this team has to find some consistency. You know, I know how these things work. You have a really good game, and guys have really gaudy numbers, and you're like, okay, maybe we can figure this out, and then you might lose another 2 or 3 in a row, and then it's like, you know, back in the dumps. If they can find a way to take this building block and take it from point A to point B, where you can get some consistency with Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum on the floor, maybe they can find a future without Zion Williamson. But until then, it's still a bad beat. Like I don't see this team crawling back into this playoff picture the way that they're built. You know, we're looking at a Minnesota team at 10. You're looking at a Lakers team that's sitting at 9. Do we feel like the New Orleans Pelicans are better teams than them? Those are going to be the teams that they're going to battle. And by the way, those teams are going to find a way to get back into the top 6. And so how they're currently built, if you can get more out of Herb Jones like you just did, I say, yeah, there's an opportunity there. But if I'm just being realistic, I don't see it. You know, I'm trying to give them a little optimism, but I don't see it.
Oh, it's hard to give. At the end of the day, it's the 5th win of the season, so you can blame injury. Everyone's.
I mean, they've had no one at times.
And again, they have been the most banged up team,
and
it's just. It's
squashed.
What a difference a healthier team makes. And you see now how important like a Herb Jones is. Just that last play, the defensive clip. When they're fully loaded, this team is elite, and they are good, and they can do that. They won this game last night with scoring a 20-point second quarter because they can be so good defensively, and now they're starting to get healthy. They're starting to get their guys back. And when you look at their starting five, think about their starting five, Lou. Ingram, Herb, Murray, McCollum, and Zion if he's healthy. Like that is a top 4, top 5 team if they're healthy. Now they haven't been healthy. Zion hasn't proven to anybody that he can stay healthy.
We don't even know what that timeline looks like.
Brandon Ingram didn't get the contract extension. There's just a lot of decisions I feel like to be made on this franchise, on this team moving forward. They don't have there's no real security besides Trey. He's the only one that got basically locked up his contract. Zion's contract's not like guaranteed. There's so many implications on his deal not being fully guaranteed based on his minutes and games played. So I just feel like there's a lot of questions and a lot of decisions to be made coming up soon. But if they can, which again we say this all the time, find a way to be healthy and stick this roster together, yeah, I like them, but they just haven't showed. I'd be crazy to think they will.
It's got to be weird to be Zion. Like the whole world's waiting for you to get healthy, and you just wake up every morning and do what you got to do, and we just wait. It's got to be frustrating as a team, everything. Speaking of injuries, because you got the Kevin Durant side of things for the Phoenix Suns, they're 1-7 now without KD on the floor. Chandler, I mean, I feel like they could tread water better, but 1-7 is a pretty rough record.
Yeah, I mean, numbers don't lie. They're
really
drastically worse without Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Which most teams that Kevin Durant was on when he wasn't playing, they were drastically worse. I don't know if they were
It's almost like he's great.
I don't know if they were 1-7 bad, but again, this is confusing to me because they do still have enough. Like you just said, they still have Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. Like Tyus Jones has been a great addition. They still have enough to win games. This is a game like this where you look back and be like, damn, we smoked one to the Pelicans in early December. It doesn't feel like a lot now, but we always talk about the West being so deep. Every game matters, especially for a team like this that is getting a bit older, that is a little banged up. Kevin Durant is not 25 anymore. You're gonna have to factor in him missing time. Bradley Beal has proven he's going to miss time. That being said, this team still has enough to tread water to still stay there, and if they're fully loaded in the playoffs, I really like them still.
And they're showing who they are. Like, are they doomed without Kevin Durant? If they can't start putting some wins together by the time that he's reevaluated next week, then yes, that's fair to say that they're doomed without Kevin Durant, even though they have Bradley Beal and they have Devin Booker and all of these other guys. they gotta find a way to win games without the Slim Reaper on the court. Until then, they will be doomed. But they're still a team that's sitting at 7th place. He'll be reevaluated. Hopefully, he gets back in time to keep that boat going.
Doomed. Such a bad sounding word.
Doomed is a dark word.
Doomed. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, that man has a family.
Run it back, run it up, run it back.
Oh, I love these. That man does have a family, and we'll start with Marvin Bagley.
Oh,
Nah, you hate to see that.
I used to love when
DG?
Rondo did it behind the back. I still love it.
No, those courts are a lot, though. They really are a lot. It's overstimulating.
He was a friend of mine.
Yikes.
Keep going. That was it?
He looks like a Marvin, too.
Oh, Jaron.
All right. Oh.
Watch Jaron out there and just throw his hands in the air.
He tried.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. He's more mad at like the guy on the low side, not tagging.
Okay.
Oh,
All
this
right,
is
here you
nasty.
go. This is fun. I
Watch
like
your
it.
head.
Old school dunk.
I like that one.
Low key, one of my favorite players in the NBA.
Cade Cunningham?
Love him.
All-star this year?
No.
I know, but he will be.
Not that much
He
of your
will.
favorite.
Well, I don't know.
Liars.
I'm gonna vote.
Oh, is this the?
This was the afterwards.
Hold on, wait a
You
minute.
see what he did after?
Yo, I just killed you.
By the way, look, watch what he does. And by the way, it's too he does it too. I'm surprised.
I know. I'm surprised this didn't turn into fisticuffs.
He hit him with this
Yeah.
right after. I'm surprised Isaiah's.
By the way, he didn't get a T or anything.
Usually that's a T or
I was
something.
shocked more by that.
Oh, Goujon.
Excuse me?
What you got?
Gershon. Hold that.
Yabusele?
2 foot bounce. I never had that.
Wagner.
You're a 2 foot bounce guy or one?
I had both.
Of course you did.
Of course you did.
If I had 50, let's say I had 50 career dunks, I think 49 of them were off 1 foot.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe
We'll probably
50.
figure that out. Maybe all.
Maybe all of them.
That'd be great. One, yeah, I could.
Any right foot dunks?
Here we go. Break it down.
Maybe one on accident.
Brandon, oh no, not on Jalen, no.
He took off on a
By the way, this poster is
trampoline.
probably funny because Jalen Brunson's like 4 feet below him.
Oh, it's not close
doing
at
the
all.
Luke Cornett
He made a
closeout. Like,
business decision. Actually, I'm gonna get out of here.
Also
All
a
right.
stud.
Check,
Much
please.
as I like
Monster
Cade
win.
Cunningham, I might like Brandon Miller more.
Wow,
He is
okay.
a
You're
bucket
very
getter.
fickle in your love for people. Cat,
Hey, Cat, listen, I was getting a lot of shit yesterday online. Cat's from New Jersey. New York's not making them tougher. I was like, all right, my bad.
okay, but no,
My
but his
bad.
reputation was always soft.
My bad,
So
Jersey.
it's-
My bad, Tri-State.
No,
I ain't mean
no, you're
harm.
not. No, you're right because he's now in New York City and
Yeah.
it's amping up some stuff.
Well,
Come on now.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Come on, no, that's like.
Jersey won credit for their guy. I apologize.
I guarantee you, everyone
My
in
bad.
Jersey who says they want credit for him called him soft for the last several years. So that's kind of a fake argument, and I'm not here for it. Shall we take a look around the league?
Oh, I thought we were
What's
going to take a
happening?
break.
No, we're not. We're going to do some Bucks at Celtics. That's a game that's happening tonight. Talk to me about the importance of this one for Milwaukee.
I'll talk to you about it. I
Okay.
think any team with high hopes, any team with expectations to win a championship this year, you got to get up when you play the Boston Celtics. They are by far the favorite, especially in the Eastern Conference. Everyone knows you are going to go through them at some point. As good as the Cavs have been, as good as the Knicks are becoming, the Bucks still think that they have a chance. And when you have Giannis healthy, when you have Damian Lillard healthy, who's to blame them? So yeah, I think this game is a huge game. This is a big test to see where they stand against the head honcho. So yeah, I think the Bucks come prepared tonight, and I think this would be a hell of a game.
It's a fun one for a Friday night game, Lou. I like this. Talk to me about the Celtics. Why am I saying talk to me? It's like a pet peeve.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to you.
Ugh, I hate it. Celtics, obviously title favorites. How hard is it when you can kind of just put it into cruise control to keep this thing going, though, where it needs to be? I don't.
I tell you what, when you're a championship team and you go to the brink and you win it, these regular season games are like a lull. They're like, man, let's get this over with. Let's get to the real deal. So the Boston Celtics, I'm sure they're just trying to fine tune some of the things that they've been able to do, just making sure they're in the right positions, making sure that everything is on a up and up. And you got to give them credit when trying to add to your bag and trying to see who's going to give you some good minutes and who's going to be somebody else that's going to help you win another championship.
Really?
They found it in a Peyton Pritchard. Like, you watch the way that he's playing. Now he's going to be somebody that you can rely on down this stretch going into the postseason. postseason for another championship run because you already know what you're going to get out of other guys. Now he's going to have a bigger and better role coming into that postseason, and now you see them implicating him more into the offense, putting him in positions to be another scoring factor. So, you know, if you're the Boston Celtics, and I'm still the title favorite, I don't overreact about some of these in-season games where you're trying to make them a big game. It's like, to us, let's stand pat on the way that we like to play basketball, but let's just continue to add, continue to grow, and once we get to the postseason, we put all of those things into play.
And it's easier said than done, but the main focus is for them to be healthy, right?
Yeah.
They need to stay healthy. They can still get some of these bench guys, some rotation guys, some extra minutes and blowout wins, but they just can't create bad habits. They just need to stay consistent. Yeah, they need to stay consistent. Not take their foot off the gas because, again, as bad as some teams are in the league, there's no easy nights. You still have to go out there. You have to execute. You have to perform. So I think the Celtics are mature enough to do that. They understand that. It's championship or bust for them. A lot of these other ones, Cavs, Jared Allen, we're just going to get to the finals. That's a huge year for them. If the Boston Celtics don't win a championship this year, it is a fail. You know what I mean? So, like, that is the bar set for them here. Not so much other teams, especially in the Eastern Conference.
It's a good place to
Knicks
be.
get to the Eastern Conference Finals, hell of a year. Cavs get to the finals. Celtics don't win the East and win the finals. It's a bad year.
Yeah, different.
They're that good.
Different standards at this point. They've built that for themselves. This is going to sound a little crazy, but there are numbers to back it up. So, better MVP case right now, Lou. It's Giannis or Tatum, but we'll throw some numbers up because Giannis right now with a career high 32.6.
Giannis's numbers are outrageous.
11.5 rebounds. He's shooting 61, almost 62%. Tatum's got 28 points per game. Like, there are numbers to back up this conversation. It's not that crazy.
It's still gonna be Tatum for me.
3 and 4 on the
it's still gonna be Tatum for me. We debate all of the time what's rewarded in this MVP conversation. Is it numbers? Is it wins? Well, Jason Tatum has both. You know, you look at Giannis. Yes, his numbers are better, but look at what he's had to do to get them to 11 and 10. He's had to carry a bigger load, and because of that, start, bro.
Yeah, I can't.
and because of that, they've been able to crawl themselves back into some relevance in the Eastern Conference. But you look at Jason Tatum; he's doing these things with ease, and so because of that, he has a better case for MVP for me.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, the Bucks
it's a lighter load.
The Bucks are one game over 500.
Okay,
again,
but what if that keeps building and they get him out?
And it will, and it will,
That's an argument.
And again, I think the adversity they faced early, and are they going to trade Giannis? I think that ship has sailed, and I think they're starting to figure it out. But I'm going to stick with my pick that I picked on October 7th, Michelle, with Jason Tatum as MVP. And again, I just looked at him. We talk about Donovan Mitchell, how are you going to reward winning it? Tatum's numbers, points, assists, they're all better than Donovan Mitchell. So it's not even. So he is the guy. He is the best player on the best team in the NBA. They win, they defend, they do everything. It's got to be Jason Tatum.
Lou, why?
Especially over. I think it's Jason Tatum over anybody right now. I think he should be one. Jokic can't win MVP right now. They're 11 and 9.
I know, but his numbers also are.
The season ended right now. It's Jason Tatum as MVP.
Okay, well, it's not ending right now. Thank God.
We got 60 more games. We got 60 more games, fortunately and unfortunately.
Yeah, take a stand. Timberwolves at Warriors. That's another game we got going tonight. There's a 3-game winning streak, obviously, in Minnesota. Ever since Anthony Edwards called everybody soft. Yay! Does it change, like what they're doing now? Does it sort of change where you see them? Could they be back to what we saw last season?
Well, I think they're still going to have that adjustment period of figuring out how do they succeed with Rudy and with Julius Randle on the floor. How do they figure out that spacing? How do they figure out the rotations? Are they going to continue to get more production from Dante, from McDaniels, from that bench? Can Mike Conley stay healthy and kind of be the head of that snake there? And I think the answer is yes. I think when you have Anthony Edwards, I think he is that good where you know what you're going to get from him, and he is going to be an elite player for the next 5 to 10 to 15. He is that good. He is that guy. They have the capability of being a great defensive team as well. So, yeah, I think it figures out. I still think they're worse than they were last year because I think Karl Anthony Towns is that good of a basketball player. But this would also be a hell of a back-to-back for the Warriors to go knock off the Rockets and the Timberwolves. So this also would be a great game.
That's a tough turnaround. It's not the best back-to-back I've seen. Who finishes higher in the standings, Lou? T-Wolves, who are right now are in 10th, or Warriors, who are right now in 5th? But you can see the discrepancy in the wins. It's not crazy.
That's a tough call right there. That is a tough call. Steph Curry being back tonight gives them a better opportunity to win on their home floor, and them sitting in 5 and to slide to a 10
It's 2 games, though.
But it's less likely. Well, this is a big game then. You know, this is a game that can really move the meter.
Literally a 2-game difference from 5 to 10.
Yeah, this one really moves the meter. But I don't see the Warriors falling from 5 to 10 with a healthy Steph Curry. So I would say they stay put closer to a 5 more so than the Timberwolves getting to a 5.
Man, I don't know about that. That's a tough one.
I think they're both going to finish around like 6-ish. So I think the Rockets are going to kind of take a step back, and I think the Suns are going to continue to get better. I think the Nuggets are going to figure out how to win games. So that's a tough question. That was also.
You're going to answer?
I would take Timberwolves.
Yeah, why
I would take Timberwolves. Well, it's not in the call sheet. It's not in here. You just made that shit up on the fly.
How did I make it up if it's on the screen?
I like to prepare and have my answers. Idiot.
Do you think I sit here and make the
Timberwolves will finish higher and lower in the standings. Oh, higher.
Did we stump Chandler today?
I didn't think that was a hard question.
You asked him a question that wasn't on the.
I didn't ask you.
Is it flip off or flick off?
That wasn't the question. That's
Is
the
it
hard
flip
part.
or flick off?
By the way, America, I don't know if you know this. Chandler thought it was you flick someone off. Well, obviously, it's flip someone off, but I do think that people will argue this because people are doing what you're doing. You're not the only one.
Timberwolves finished with a better record than the Golden State Warriors.
And I think the Rockets are going to be just fine.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to be prepared, man. It's cool.
I
didn't think you would have a meltdown.
Freestyle.
I didn't either.
It's like Friday. For
we
God's
do get Steph back though. So Steph, Ant, man, you have to pay for a ticket to see one. Who is it?
Is that another
I did
tough
make that
question?
one up. That one I did.
What is this?
Is that another tough question?
I just reworded something.
Wow, this is tough. This is harder than the first one. Anthony Edwards is probably my favorite player, but watching Steph Curry is the guy changed the game. The guy is so much fun. I think I'd watch him shoot in a gym by himself, let alone against like a Timberwolves defense. So to me, I love everything. I love everything about him. I love the celebration. I love the range. I love the way he moves off screens, the way he shoots off the dribble. It truly is one of a kind. I don't know that we'll ever see someone like Steph Curry again, just with his conditioning, with his motor, with his shooting ability, off the dribble, off the catch, off the screen. He can do it all.
Right,
I'm going with Steph.
You know what? I'm gonna move. Excuse me. I'm gonna move the goalpost a little bit.
Oh, here we go. Isn't it funny though? That Steph Curry's great to watch without dunking or like
he's like a show.
Ant-Man is gonna be more fun to watch tonight. Because he's still young enough where these matchups are a thing to him. You understand? Like, this is business as usual for Steph Curry. But for Ant-Man, he's still young enough that I'm still making my name. I'm still making my rounds around here. And so if he can do things like this,
I mean, that's fun.
Instead of trying to outshoot Steph Curry tonight, he's gonna be way more fun to watch. So give me Ant-Man.
All right.
Can I give my predictions for the game since you skipped that and asked me random ass questions? I like the Celtics to win, but the Bucks to cover 7.5.
Nobody asked for any of that. Like none of it.
And I like the Warriors. And I like no. Who do I like? I like the Wolves. I like the Wolves tonight.
Him off his,
you don't even know who you like.
Throwing him off his
Give me the Wolves plus 1.5 tonight. Not only do they cover, they win the game. Give me Wolves money line tonight. Give me Wolves money line tonight. That's my final answer. We're going to commercial break.
Yes, we are.
We had a meltdown.
By the way, we have to start next segment.
Run it back, run it up, run it back.
I don't really care about the young guys getting better. I just care about me, what I'm gonna spend.
Yep, that's the You're an A-hole moment, brought to you by Jalen Brunson with Josh Hart. Look, Josh wants the new AP, and he doesn't care about the young guys.
I like honesty.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, let's be clear. It ain't like they poor.
Good, wow.
Someone just tore a meniscus back there.
It's hard to listen.
It's Friday.
What's that say? 51K bonus?
That was now that they got that just for moving on.
Sometimes it's okay to focus on yourself, Josh Hart.
It's called self-care.
I'm digging it. Didn't they get a bonus as well?
He got a bonus as well.
It's just funny to me, like Austin Reeves last year saying he's going to get a Riviera membership. It's like, you realize you can already afford that.
No, but some people don't want to touch that pot. They want like bonus money to go towards fun stuff. Didn't Gronk do that? Like not spend a penny of his salary?
You're supposed to spend your endorsement money.
Yeah, I like it. But now Brunson's required to give all of his bonuses away because he's calling him an a-hole for not. So I'm just
and now
saying.
he has to get the AP as well.
He has to get the AP.
It's a great,
he will.
Brilliant move.
He's got a good watch collection so far. I've seen some of those. Drew Holiday said, this is interesting, that Zion is one of the most gifted players he has ever seen, but he needs a change. Now that Could be anything, Chandler. What are we looking at here?
Well, I think he did make a change with his agency. There's
that
reports last year he changed his chef. He's changed the people around his circle. So there is.
He's been changing.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
changing
how
stuff.
much more do you want the guy to change? I think when people get hurt, like
Do you think he needs to change the scenery?
Yes.
All right,
yeah,
so
sure.
then
He does
do
need
that.
that, and I'd love to see him on different. But that's not going to magically make him healthy if he's on the Heat next year. Like that's
Different air.
But-
I mean, it might with Heat culture and them measuring fat. And doing all
What
that.
about Phoenix? They got that dry air.
What
It's
I
good
will
for the
say
bones.
is someone that's been hurt a lot, if he's doing all the right things and if he has a proper chef and diet and sleep and recovery and workout, he can sleep peacefully knowing he's doing everything he can to play it. Now, if the stories and the reports are true that he's not doing that, that's where the team is going to have frustration. That's where the fan base is going to have frustration if he's not putting himself in the position to give himself the best chance to play. That's two different stories. If he is, Zion, and only Zion and his team knows, then I think he can sleep well at night knowing that he tried everything possible. He exhausted all options.
Tough part is with the chef is like, oh, it's all good. You eat your 3 balanced meals and you feel great. Then the chef leaves and you're alone in the house with snacks.
As good as a
I
chef
get
is,
it.
it's not gonna like heal his like knees and like as if he's hurt, he's hurt.
collagen.
Like like if he's hurt, he's hurt.
Some people's bodies are just rough that way.
Yeah.
Right, Chandler?
Say that again, sister.
Okay, sister. Lou, you get the Paul Pierce quote. You know it's going to be a good one. Paul said that the 2008 Celtics would break the current Celtics mentally, just like he did to LeBron. Lou, 2008, are they that much tougher?
Nah.
Anybody can say anything.
Nah,
I mean, of course you can.
I love it when the OGs challenge the young guys. It makes for good TV. But listen, don't underestimate these young guys. You know, they might not be as boisterous as your 2008 Celtics were, but a lot of that was Kevin Garnett. You know, but one of the tougher guys on that 2008 team barely said a word, and that was Rajon Rondo, right? And for this new Celtics team, that guy's going to be Jaylen Brown.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't talk much unless he's spoke to, and when he speaks, it resonates. And so don't underestimate them guys. Mentally, they're probably on the same page as your 2008 Celtics. So I would love to see it, but I just break them down mentally off the whim. I ain't rolling, P.
Yeah, I agree with Lou.
Yeah, time machine.
Anybody can just say anything now. You can compare this team to that team. We'll never know the answer, so it's a fun argument, I guess.
It is.
But let's not mistake how the game is called and played and officiated now to being like mentally weak or whatever.
You know how it is when you go back to your old high school and you're talking to the young guys. Like, hey, you want to put a banner up.
Oh, 100%.
You want a patch on your sleeve.
No
you got
doubt.
to be more like us. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those scenarios.
I hope I'm never that guy, though.
Yeah,
Like,
this is some in-house fighting, but I don't know. I don't know, P. Break those guys down mentally. Like they had their fights. You know, even down to the point we thought you died one game when you got wheeled off in a wheelchair and came back. You know what I'm saying?
Epic.
And so, yeah, we could go back and forth about the 2008 team or the 2024 championship teams, but I like the fact that he's challenging them and he's giving them something added to go out and try to go win another championship.
Jaylen Brown on that team, though, that's a fun thing to think about. Chandler, you're up. Tim Hardaway Sr. said that the problem with load management is that guys in the league aren't drinking enough milk.
First of all, I'm 99% sure I just got bird flu from trying raw.
I was going to say, you've done the raw milk trend.
I'm the wrong guy to ask you. I swear. There's the Air One bird flu. Raw milk just got recalled for bird flu. So
don't even
I'm not
understand
a big
raw
milk guy. I'm lactose. I'm more of an almond oat kind of guy. But
Maybe collagen supplements.
No.
I stand by
We're
that.
not gonna breeze past. Tim Hardaway said, I need more context. Like,
they're not drinking enough milk. The bones
They're not
aren't strong
The
enough.
calcium's not there. The bones are weak. They're brittle. They're old. They're
Maybe
falling
he's onto
apart.
something.
All right, be back.
what is going on this weekend, man? What is going on?
Run it back, run it up.
Prop party. We'll just skip over Chandler. He
Put your paper
clearly
down, bro.
gave you all of yours.
There's
there
my
it is.
picks.
Yeah, moving on. Lou, what do you got?
Well, here's my predickies. I like the Milwaukee Bucks tonight for whatever reason, and I like
Because they're
Tatum-
plus 250, good odds.
I like Tatum over in points as well, though.
Okay, so you're a little bit of both.
contradictory.
How
yeah,
many
but
points?
I like that.
I'll mix it up.
Just over. I have the
scores, we win.
Celtics actually winning this one, and my favorite, Jaylen over on his points. Just
Okay.
points.
We shall see who wins again.
We'll keep track, and one day we'll tell you about it. That does it for us. Have a great weekend. See
Shout
you
out
all
Freddie
Monday.
Lou didn't know who he was.